Last class, we have seen examples of non-deterministic automata and we have formally defined what an NFA is. Today, we are going to formally define the language accepted by a non-deterministic automaton, and after that we shall also discuss about a new type of finite automata, namely NFA with epsilon transitions. So that is the topic for today. First, we need to formally define the language accepted by an NFA. We know that in the case of an NFA, unlike a DFA, for a given input string, there can be 0 or more paths in the automaton. If at least one path ends in a final state, then the input string is accepted or in the language represented by the automaton, and that is the semantics that we discussed. Today the agenda is to formalize that semantics and discuss a definition or a formal definition for the language accepted. And for defining the language, we need to use the transition function delta, and we can try to recall what this transition function delta is using this example. So, if we want to answer this question, so what is the outcome of doing or reading the simple small a from the state S? What are the possible outcomes, or what are the next states possible? You know that it is set ST, because when you read a simple a, you can either use this transition to stay back in the state S, or you can move on to the state T. So, from this single state, there are two next states possible when you read the simple small a. Formally, you can say that for all states P and for all input simples A, what could be delta of PA, that is to which all state you can reach from the state from the state P when you read the simple A. You can say that it is the set of all states Q such that there exists a transition to Q for A from the state P. For example, here if you are taking P as S and A as the simple, then you can go to S and you can also go to T. So, this is how you can formally define it. It is the set of all Q such that there exists a transition from P to Q for A, or equivalently Q can be reached from P on A. This is how you formally write, because for this transition there could be a number of states in the RHS. So, we can say that each state in that RHS, that is for each Q such that Q is an element of the RHS. So, that is the formal definition of the transition function that we discussed. Now, using that, now we can define an extended transition function delta cap in terms of delta. Here again, we can try to understand what is delta cap in terms of this example. Now, you see that this is an NFA because multiple transitions are there for A from S. No transitions are defined for A and B from U, and two start states are there. Now, if you want to see whether the string AAB is accepted or not, you have to consider all the traces or paths for the string AAB from the start states S and T. You can either start with S or with T because two start states are there. So, basically delta cap is an extended transition function which tells if you start processing a string from a set of states, that is the difference. Here it is a string, not just a simple, and you are looking at a set of states. And why is it that set of states is relevant here is because you can have a number of start states. So, you want to see if you start from a set of start states, to which all states you can reach after you finish reading a string. And if you look at this automaton, we can see that from the state S and T, if you do AAB, you can reach into the states S and U. Why? Because from S for A you can either go to S or T, and again you can do the same from the state S because it is the same state S to S or T. And now if you come to S and you process a B, from S a B will take you back to S only. Similarly here from T, if you do a B, you are going to state U. From T if you go and read A, you can only move to U. Okay, that is exactly what here also you can do. So, in the transition traces, which in this case is actually a forest as a data structure because a set of two trees, one for each start state. Okay. So, in general the trace is a forest. So, which are the states to which you can reach? If you look at the paths for AAB, only two paths are there. AAB, this path ending in S, and AAB, the second path ending in U. So, you can easily see that if you start processing the string AAB from the set of start states S and T, then you can end up in either S or U. Not that these two paths are terminated or not having transitions defined for all simple. So, they are not paths, only these two paths are there for AAB, and so you can reach either into S or into U. Now, how can we define this in terms of delta? Not that this is delta cap. When compared to delta, here you are defining it from a set of state rather than a single state in the case of delta. And here you are defining the set of states reachable for a string, not for just a simple, and that is the difference. And now you can see that actually you can define it like once you reached into this set of states after AA, if you look at these two simples from states ST, after AA there are three paths, one ending at S, another one ending at T, and the third one ending at U. So, after AA you can be in any one of these states. Okay. So, now after AA you have to process a B. So, you have to take the states that you can reach from S on a B, union the states you can reach from T on a B, union the states that you can reach from U on a B. But in this case there is no such state. So, it is nothing but where can you go from S for a B, okay, that is delta SB, union where you can go for a B from T, that is this, union where you can go for B from U. From U you cannot move out. So, this is null set. So, this is exactly set S union set U and you are getting the result. Okay, I hope you are following. Otherwise, please watch it offline and see exactly what is going on. And you can rewrite this as union of, okay, from each of these states where you go when you process a B. That is, for each state Q in this set STU, you say what is delta of QB. That is, Q can be S, then you will get this union. When you take UST, you will get this, and finally when you take USQ, you will get this. So this is just a rewriting this in general. Okay, and now what is STU actually? STU is the set of states to which you can reach after processing AA. So you can write it as STU is nothing but this function, that is, from the start states ST, set of start state ST, if you process the string AA, where will you end up? You will end up in this set of states. Okay, this is exactly what you are getting here. Okay, I hope you are getting me. If you process the string AA from the set of start states, where will you end up? In this set of states. Okay, that is exactly what this set is. So this is just rewriting it very formally in terms of delta cap. And now we have enough things to formally define what is delta cap. We can say that delta cap from ST on AAB is nothing but you consider to which all states you can reach after processing AA from ST, that is this. From each such Q, you need to see where you go for a B and take union of all such states, and that is it. It is just formally writing what we know, and intuitively it is nothing but the set of all states to which you can reach after reading AAB from the set of start states, and that is it. And now we have enough information for formally defining what is delta cap, and here is how you define it. So delta cap is a structure or a function of this structure. It is from a set of states for an input string, not that, for an input string, to which all states you can reach. So from a subset of states for an input string to which all set of states you will reach, and you can inductively define it. Suppose you start from a set of states capital A is the set of states, maybe STU or ST. If you process epsilon, you cannot get into any more states because epsilon is not a simple. You are not reading any simple, means you will retain in the set of states A itself. Now is the inductive step for defining it. What is it? If you start from a set of states capital A and you want to process a string X followed by a simple A. So what is it? You see which all states you can reach after you read the string X from A. From each such state you see where it can go for A and take the union of all such states. Okay, where this is nothing but the set of states reachable for the input string X from the set of states A. So just collecting it and writing it formally from our previous discussion. Okay, and now we are going to define the language accepted by an N of A in terms of the extended transition function. The language accepted by an N of A over an alphabet set sigma is defined as the language of A is the set of all input strings such that if you process that input string from the set of start states, then this will give you the set of all states that you can end in, and intersection F is non-empty means at least one state to which you reach is a final state. Suppose this is empty, that means every path ends in a non-final state, then you reject. Okay, suppose at least one path ends in a final state, then this intersection will be non-empty, it will be that final state. Okay, I hope you are getting me. So basically or intuitively, you accept a string W if at least one path from one final state, from any of the start state ends in a final state. That is what we formally define. It says, if from at least one start state after processing W, if you can reach into a final state, you accept, otherwise you reject. Okay, and with this we are finishing the discussion on language accepted by an NFA, and moving on to the second topic for this lecture, that is NFA with epsilon transitions. Let us try to understand what it is using an example NFA with epsilon transition. Here is an example, and if you look at this, this is an NFA because if you look at the state 1, then transition is not defined for B. So, it is not a DFA NFA. And if you look at state 3, 2 transitions are defined for B. And if you come to state 4, no transitions are there for both A and B. So, it is an NFA. But here you can see that now you have epsilon transitions as well. So, what is an epsilon transition? It means, suppose you want to read the simple A, to whichever state you can reach without consuming a simple, you have the freedom to take this transition or this transition. Okay. So, if you want to read A, you can either go to 2 or you can go to 3. How? Because if before you read A, if you take this transition, that is allowed without consuming a simple. Epsilon transition means you can take that transition without even consuming a simple. Okay. So, you move on to 1 and you process A, then you can accept. Okay. And if you move on to 3 and process the simple A, then you will not accept, because in that case you are coming to 3 and processing the simple A, in that case you will not accept. And this is the only difference. Here you can have epsilon transitions. So, epsilon transitions allow the machine to make a move along the epsilon edge without reading an input simple. That is, if you are going to read the next input simple from a state, you can either take the transition for that input simple, or you have the freedom to take an epsilon transition and go to that state through the epsilon transition, and from there you process the input simple. And there could be any number of finitely many epsilon transitions from a state. Now, what would be the language accepted? Language accepted means if there exists a path. For example, if you take small a as the input string, that can be accepted because there is a path for small a. What is the string along the path? Epsilon concatenated with A is just A. So, A can be accepted. If you go like this, A will not be accepted, but there exists at least one path which allows you to accept. Okay. So, you can see that if you go like this, then you will accept, and in that case the string will be starting with an A. Okay. And the only other way to accept is go like this, stay here for some time, and finally you move to this state. In that case, the last symbol is a B. So, you can easily verify that the language is the set of all strings starting with A, that is A followed by an arbitrary string or an arbitrary string followed by a B. So, the language is starting with A or ending with B. This kind of a logic where you have OR can be very easily managed with an epsilon transition like this. Okay. So, that is the first example, and before we formalize definition of an N of A, let us look at one more example N of A, example 2. Here is the example. You can verify that it is not an N of A, it is not an N of A because epsilon transition is there. So, it is N of A with epsilon transition. It is not a DFA because you do not have transition for B defined from S, transition for A defined from T, and transition for both A and B defined from U. All these are missing. So, not DFA and not NFA because you have an epsilon transition. So, it is an NFA with epsilon transition. Now, can you guess what is the language accepted by this NFA with epsilon transition? It is not easy, it is not difficult, it is very easy. You can see that AB can be accepted, right? String AB is accepted. And what else can be accepted? After AB, without consuming an input simple, you can move back to S. So, again AB will be taking you to U. So, you can easily verify that AB can be accepted, and in this case after AB you will take this epsilon h, come back, and again this AB will take you back to U again. So, it can accept one or more repetitions of the substring AB, okay, one or more repetition of the substring AB, that is the language, okay. And with these two examples, I think now it is clear to you what kind of a freedom that epsilon transition is giving you, and let us move on and formally define what is an N of A with epsilon transitions. We can try to define it using this example N of A with epsilon transition. It can be defined as a structure of this form. The structure is same as that of an N of A over the alphabet set sigma. So, try to collect the components. First is this state set STU. It is a finite set of states, same as the first component in N of A. Then you have the set of start states. Sorry for this, it should be singleton set S. Sorry for that. You read it as a set S only. I will remove this. So, it is the set of start states, a subset of the state set. Then you have the transition function delta. Here again I am using delta, not a new simple, and there is a single difference, and just collect which are the transitions from S. You have to look at from S. If you process an A, you will go to T. From S, if you process a B, you will not go anywhere. So, null set. And in an NFA with epsilon transition, you also have to see for epsilon where will you go. From S, no epsilon transition, so null set. And if you look at T, for A no transition is defined. For B, you can move into state U, and from T for epsilon no transition, so null set. So, look at the transitions defined from U. For A, no transition. For B, no transition, but for epsilon there is a transition that takes you back to the start state S. Okay. With this we can formalize what is it? This is the only difference. From the current state, if you process a simple or epsilon, where will you go? That is it. Okay. That is the only difference. From every state you will be having 0 or more transition for epsilon as well. Okay, that is the only difference in the definition when compared to an NFA, and finally you have the set of final states. Okay. So, the only difference is in the second parameter for the transition function, it can be either a simple or the null simple, you can say, or epsilon. Okay. It is a little confusion because I am using the simple epsilon for both the null string and the transition. Okay. If you want, you can say that it is epsilon cap if you have confusion. Okay. So, today we have formally defined the language accepted by an NFA. It is nothing but the set of all strings W for which there exists a path from a from a start state going to a final state. There could be 0 or more paths for any W. If at least one path ends in a final state, we accept. Okay. And after this formal definition, we have seen NFA with epsilon transitions. And what is it? From every state, we can also have epsilon transition, meaning if you come to that state without reading an input simple, you can move to a state using the epsilon transition if there. Okay. And so, in the case of an NFA with epsilon transition, you have the freedom from a state to read the next simple if there is a transition, or what you can do is you move along the epsilon edges to which all states you can reach, and from there you try reading the next input simple. And that is what we covered in this lecture. Thank you.